Hi everybody, this is Todd with the Forex Nitty Gritty Insiders Daily Video. Hope you're having a good day today and been trading well. We're going to look here at a couple things, and the first thing is we're just going to evaluate quickly what's happening with the hourly charts for the 6 major pairs that we look at. And we're going to look for a couple of things, and this is typically what we want to be identifying. First, we want to look for what the trend is, and we can primarily focus on the trend for that chart that we're dealing with, because that's where we're going to look at taking our entries. Second thing, we want to identify the support, especially if it's in an uptrend. We want to also identify the resistance, and that's going to give us the areas that will help us identify where we're going to place our targets, our stop losses, and those types of things. Once we identify trend, support, and resistance, then we can start to look for where the HH3 in an uptrend would be, or if it's in a downtrend, the LL3, which is the lowest low of the last 3 versus the highest high of the last 3. So let's talk about each one of these on a couple of these pairs, and we'll just kind of skim through some of the other ones. But first of all, let's put on to our chart here our 40-period simple moving average. And this 40-period simple moving average helps us with being able to tell whether we should be going long or short. Now, if it's moving up and the price is above the moving average, then it's what we would consider as an established trend to the upside. If it's moving down and the price is below it, then we're going to look at that as a downtrend. But with a situation like we have right now where the moving average is going down, and I can blow this up so we can see it a little bit clearer. So the moving average is going down, but price is above it. Now we've got a situation where there's not really a strong or an established type of a trend. And so we typically will avoid trying to look for the simple trading method in that type of a scenario. Now at some point that's going to change, and then we can do that. Now as we switch to other pairs, for example, the Aussie US dollar, we can look at that and we can say, what is happening here that would give us the idea that the trend is now in an uptrend? Well, we said if the moving average is going up, like it is here, and the price is above it, that we're going to consider that as an uptrend or a bullish trend. So we've got the uptrend, we've got the price above it, and now what we're going to be looking for is an opportunity to get into this as the price moves up off of support. And so what we want to see now is whether or not this is pulling back to support. And right now it really hasn't done that. In fact, as we look at this, our next level of support is going to be somewhere, down in here. So we would say that if it pulls back towards that and the moving average is still going up, we're going to look for an opportunity to take a long position on that. So in this scenario, we would not have a trade setup. Now, if we were to go back and we were to have looked, something like this, where it does start to move back, even though we don't have super strong support here, we get a nice little bounce up off of that, and entering in above the highest high of the last 3 is certainly something to consider. Let's take a look at the pound dollar. Pound dollar, we just, probably missed as it pulled back here, an opportunity to get in. But the trend is certainly established to the upside here. Moving average is going up and price is up above that. US Japanese yen. Here we have an example of where it did come back to support. Moving average is going up. So at this point, if we were to have caught this push up off of support here, the highest high of the last 3 really would have been getting us in at this level right here. So we'd actually be in this with the anticipation that because of the trend and because of that setup, that it's going to continue to move higher. US Swiss franc. this is at a point here where we should feel pretty comfortable with the fact that the trend is moving down, and we're below that. Although we're right kind of at it, we're still basically below this, and we're going to see this acting as an area here of resistance, causing the selling pressure to push the price lower. And the lowest low of the last three is going to be right here in this area. So if this pulls back below that, that's where we're going to look at shorting this using this simple trading method. And then finally here we've got the US CAD. That line is on there, but I'm going to get rid of it. Try to get rid of it. 1 second. There we go. So here, let's go to where we're at currently on this. You can kind of see we really didn't have much of a pullback here, and I'm going to just highlight a couple areas. So we had a little bit of a pullback to resistance there. We had a little bit of a pullback to resistance there. Our entry would have been somewhere in this area here, and on this one, our entrance would have been somewhere in this area right there. Now, I said that once we identify that support or that resistance area, that it's going to give us an idea of where we're going to place our stops, and so our stop loss would be somewhere up above the most recent high, which is going to be up above that resistance area. So take some time, practice with drawing these lines, drawing these levels to make sure you're comfortable with that. And then we'll look for, we'll be able to look better for those opportunities to take those trades in the direction of that trend coming off of either support or resistance. So with that, we'll wrap it up for today. Have a great trading day. If you have questions, let me know. If not, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll probably be back Thursday and take a look at what's going on. So until then, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.